Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, this is Dr. Mugo. I hope you're keeping well.
Yes, I am.
Great, great, great. We can talk briefly?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I have a patient. Is a lady who's having an issue with breastfeeding. Lovely, lovely, lovely little boy born just the other day. In fact, that was, I think, 2 days ago. And we're having a problem with breastfeeding. The latching seems not to be working out very well. Second time, mom. And unfortunately, the young boy actually is presenting a case of jaundice, and it's breastfeeding related. Do you have time to maybe accommodate this mother?
Yes.
Yes, I think I want to refer her to you. My previous clients were so happy with you, and
Nice.
I think this is something that is under your docket.
Thank you.
So let me send her over. I'll share her number with you. Please just help her manage this so that we can get that little beautiful boy out of trouble.
Thank you.
Asante sana.
Thank you, Daktari.
Karibu sana. I wish you a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Nerea Ojanga, and I run a consultancy, a midwifery consultancy called Midwife Nerea. Today, I'm going to talk about the breast. The call you've just heard is my normal day-to-day calls from hospitals, from doctors, from even midwives. Today, I'm going to talk about the breast. And I want to look at the breast from the time that a mother gets pregnant. When a mother gets pregnant, there are so many hormones that come into play. Actually, the whole pregnancy and up to labor is controlled by hormones. Various hormones. I might not be able to name them here. But one of the works of the hormone is to make sure that after conception has taken place, this ovum, the uniting of the two cells, will now be taken to the uterus. There are hormones that will actually keep that baby in the uterus until the mother goes into labor. The way the hormones are anchoring the baby in the uterus is the way the body is preparing for breastfeeding already when the mother falls pregnant. Now, you realize many mothers, all the mothers actually, when they are pregnant, their breast sizes start changing. They start becoming bigger and bigger. And towards the end of pregnancy, they are actually much bigger and they are much heavier because now they are carrying the milk. Halfway through the pregnancy, we talk about 40 weeks, so on around 20 weeks, or 22, 23, around about there, the mother has colostrum. Colostrum is the first milk that the mother makes, or the body makes, ready for the baby. Now, when you look at a woman who is pregnant, look at the breast from outside, you'll actually be able to see three distinct features. We have the nipple, and the nipple is the pointed part of the breast. This nipple is, we just call it a conduit because it actually, like a pipe, getting milk from the mother and conveying it to the baby's mouth. So the nipple usually doesn't have any milk at all because it's just a pipe. Now, when you look at the mother again, right around the nipple, there is the darker part of the breast. We call it areola. But in the African women, you find some have bigger ones, others have smaller ones. So the darker part of the breast is where the milk is stored. Now, in the other part of the breast, the bigger part of the breast, now inside there, we have mammary glands. But in the outside, it just looks big and lumpy if you have to touch it. And that is where the milk production occurs. I will be able to talk about what you see from inside of the breast in the next few minutes. Now, let me talk about how the breast looks like inside. Inside the breast, we have many mammary glands. And these mammary glands are where the milk production is done. We have two hormones which actually work on the mammary gland. One is called prolactin. Now, prolactin works on the cells in the mammary glands to make milk. So in the mammary glands is where the milk is done or is produced. Now, when you talk about oxytocin, now oxytocin will actually squeeze the mammary glands to bring the milk down to the darker part of the breast. And that is how now breastfeeding is established. I would want also to talk about something about more complex about breastfeeding, and this is called the 3 Bs. The 3 Bs means there is the breast, there is the baby, and there is the brain. All these hormones I've talked about are coming from the brain. Now the brain produces these 2 hormones, and so baby is able to, when the baby gets onto the breast, then the brain is excited to bring these 2 hormones, and these 2 hormones will work on the mammary glands, as I've said, one making the milk, the other one squeezing the milk to the darker part or to the areola, and then that is then passed on to the baby. So these 3 Bs is very, very important, because if any of them is not in alignment, then we will not achieve breastfeeding. Now I want to talk about latching. And latching is ensuring the baby takes as much of the areola or the darker part of the breast into the baby's mouth as much as possible. And the call that I received, or the call that you had, was talking about a mother, a second-time mother who is having a problem with latching. This means this baby is not able to take the larger part of the breast, and so the baby is not feeding, the baby is not getting enough milk. And probably some babies will not open their mouths wide enough, so they'll be doing the nipple. When the baby is not taking the bigger part of the breast, where the milk is, then they will not feed. And that is why, you remember, you heard the doctor saying they are having jaundice. Jaundice comes because of dehydration of the babies not being able to get enough milk. So latching is very important, because then other conditions of the breast might appear because of poor latching. And poor latching means this baby could be actually working or sucking the nipple, and sucking the nipple will bring what we call crushed nipples. And crushed nipples is a painful condition which some mothers will be crying, because it's very, very painful when the nipples are crushed. When the baby latches well, the baby will be able to get that fluid, which is colostrum, and then the mother will also be comfortable, because her breasts will not develop what you call that crushed nipples. The other thing will be, if the baby is latching well, then they're able to empty what is in the breast, so the mother doesn't run into things we call engorgement or mastitis, which I will put that in my other topics later. I want to go now straight on to colostrum. What is colostrum? Colostrum is a whitish, thick or yellow thick fluid which comes onto the breast on the day the baby is born. By the way, some ladies are able to produce that colostrum even before the baby comes. So colostrum, because it has been in the breast, I said it's been in the breast from 20 weeks. So colostrum is the first milk the baby takes when they are born. What is colostrum? Yes, I've described the color, but colostrum is loaded with vitamin A. Colostrum is loaded with immunity. Colostrum has very little water. Colostrum is produced the first 3 days of the baby's life. What does it do to the baby? Immunity. This baby has been in the uterus, and it's been in an environment which is really bacteria-free. Now, this baby has come onto the world. They will need to be covered, so they will need immunity. They will need to be taken care of by this colostrum. The colostrum is not much because of vitamin A, then it also protects the gut. So it makes sure that the gut is strong enough. Remember, when our baby was in the uterus, the whole gut was made from the mouth to the other side, to the anal side. but it was never functioning. So once the baby comes out and takes their first breath, then immediately the gastrointestinal system starts moving. So then we need colostrum for this baby. It is usually between 7-10 mils the first feed, and the breast will actually produce those 7-5 mils for the baby. Colostrum at the same time has this effect where it kind of like makes the gut strong, so that it doesn't allow microorganisms or bacteria to get into the baby. So it has a very important function, so babies don't have diarrhea and stuff like that, because it is already kind of been, what would I say, cemented? Not really, not for a lack of a better word, but that is what colostrum does. The other thing that colostrum does is also it has a laxative effect, where it is able to get all the, you call them the dark stools, we call them meconium. It is able to get the meconium out. And as it gets the meconium out, then the jaundice also now begins to get lower and lower. So if this baby doesn't take that colostrum, it means everything is packed in there. And so that is why you heard the doctor say the baby is getting jaundice. So colostrum has an effect of also clearing the jaundice in babies. When we are working with teaching the mothers, we want the baby to be attached to the breast correctly, as I've talked about latching. If you deliver normally within the 1 hour, within 30 minutes, if it is through cesarean section, within 1 hour, for that establishment of breastfeeding. Friends, I just want us to look at this breast. This is how the breast looks like from the outside. You have the main breast, and then we have what you call the areola, the darker part. Mine is actually pink and so much lighter. And then we have the nipple. As I said, the nipple is the conduit, so milk is stored in here. So what would I talk about? How would I demonstrate latching here? Latching means the baby is able to put his mouth or her mouth right in, make sure that all this darker, the lighter part of the breast, which will be darker for the women, into the baby's mouth, and then they'll be able to squeeze the milk out. As they squeeze the milk out, then the nipple will conduct the milk into the baby's mouth. And actually, when you look at the baby breastfeeding, if they are latching well, baby is very small, remember? So if they're latching well, that means the nipple will be under here, right inside the mouth. So that then you are so sure your baby is actually, taking in as much milk as they should. So I've talked so much about the breastfeeding. And for more information on midwifery services, or even breastfeeding and Lamaze, please get in touch with us on the number that is displayed on your screen. You can also get in touch with us through our social media handles, which is on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. Thank you.